Hey everybody, it is late at night and I am Norman. One-handed watches are intriguing. It's mind-boggling to think about how slow an hour hand moves on a standard watch of 12 hours, but consider the movement of an hour/minutes hand on a 24-hour watch. Crazy. At some point I will probably be adding a one-handed watch to my collection because I would love to experience one of these in the flesh. But until then, let's rummage around the internet and see what kind of one-handed watches we can find out there. The pieces we'll be looking at tonight fall under a wide variety of price points, so no matter what your monetary situation is, you may be able to get your hands on one of these. Be sure to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to wrap up this list with my personal favorite. So let's look at some one-handed watches. The first watch on my list is the Meistersinger Paragraph. Meistersinger is a watch brand that has gone all in when it comes to one-handed watches. Every single watch in their catalog is a single-hander. Every single one. This brand is definitely worth taking a look at. They offer super unique day-date wheel-based complications, moon phase watches, pieces with power reserve indicators, all kinds of variety to choose from. And their designs are really great looking. The Paragraph is one of their lines with a wheel-based date system. I love it. These are 12-hour one-handers. There's a band of color around the edge of the dial with minutes markers partially inside the band, reaching out of it toward the center of the dial. Inside this band we have a black dial with 0 padded hour markers in Arabic numerals. Inside of these resides the date wheel. There's a small triangle at the top which points to the current date. This wheel is colored to match the outer band of the dial. The single hand is an elongated triangle shape with a large circle at the center. It is in contrasting white. There are a couple of different colorways to choose from, a great looking green color and a purplish red. Bear in mind these are pretty large at 43 millimeters, and they retail for about $2,000. As for the specifications on these watches, the case size is 43 millimeters, the case height is 11.5 millimeters, the crystal is sapphire, and the movement inside of them is a Sellita SW200-1. Be sure to check out the description below. I've put links to all of these pieces there. Next up on my list is a Chopard jumping hour watch. I encountered this watch on a meetup post on Watch Pro site. When I saw it, I knew I had to include it in this list. These pieces are definitely in the luxury price slot at $44,500. And they're extremely limited, only 100 pieces. But they are pretty cool looking. I don't care for rose gold, but the design is great. These dials are enamel with minute markers around the edge of the dial in Arabic numerals. There's a railroad style track inside of these. The dial is completely sterile, except for the brand name at the 12 o'clock. The watch's one hand, the minutes hand, has a great unique shape to it. At the base it is sheathed in what looks like the center of a Dauphine hand. However, extending out of that case is a tapered pencil hand. At the 6 o'clock position is a large jumping hour window framed in rose gold. Jump hour watches are really cool. It would be fun to see one in person. Oh, and these watches are hand winders. As for the specifications on these watches, the case size is 40 millimeters. The case height is 10.3 millimeters, the crystal is sapphire, and the movement is an LUC 98.06-L. Next on the list is slow watches. Slow watches are one of the first one-handers I encountered. I like their round variants, but they do offer octagonal pieces, if that is what you're after. They even offer some pieces in 34 millimeters, for those of us who are obsessed with vintage proportions. Or ladies looking for a single-handed watch. These are 24-hour watches, hence the brand name, with so many markers to call out. Since the single hand tells hours and minutes, time telling is somewhat of a 15-minute estimate. These watches have a nice, almost Bauhaus aesthetic to them. The rounds have completely sterile dials, with stick markers around the very edge of the dial. In amongst these are the 24-hour indicators in small Arabic numerals. The single hand has the same shape as the paragraph that we looked at already, a narrow triangular shape. These pieces retail for about $300, so these are fairly obtainable to single-hander watch seekers out there. As for the specifications on these watches, the case size is available in 42, 40, 38, and 34. The case height is 8.25 millimeters, the crystal is sapphire, the movement inside these watches is a Ronda 515.24. And next we have the Gustave Automatic. Gustave is a French brand that offers a wide variety of one-hand watches in both 12 and 24-hour options. The piece we're looking at is their more expensive automatic GMT line. It retails for about $800. It is a double crown design with the rotating GMT inner bezel around the outside of the dial. Inside of this ring is the current time zone indicators, with 12 at the top and midnight at the bottom. This orientation may take a little getting used to. The hand is a stick hand with an open circle near its end that aligns with the minutes track that fills the spaces between the hours. Their quartz pieces are available in 36 or 40 millimeters. I'm not sure on the automatic variants. I would think that they might be 40 millimeters though. They're available in silver with a blue dial, gold with a silver dial, and black with a black dial. Their quartz pieces sell for about $200. And strangely enough, they have a Russian movement inside them. As for the specifications on these watches, the case size is 40 millimeters, the crystal is sapphire, and the movement is a Russian automatic. Okay. Next is Ferrow. Pharaoh features some great racing-inspired watches. One such watch is their one-handed model. These watches retail for about $425. They're big pieces at 44 millimeters and they look really thick, even though they actually aren't on paper. They have lugs that are modeled after vintage wire lugs. They have somewhat tech-looking Explorer-style indicators with large Arabics at 12, 3, 6, and 9. The other hour markers are done in a much smaller font. They're 12-hour watches. I really like the pops of red in the design. There's a small red triangle right above the 12 o'clock indicator, and the single hand is done in red. It is a needle hand with an open triangular counterweight. There's a circular date window between the 4 and 5 o'clock positions. They have a great onion-style crown. The dial text consists of the brand name in a great-looking arc above the word distinct, just below the 12 o'clock position. These are super unique and fun pieces. As for the specifications on them, the case size is 44 millimeters, the case height is 11 millimeters, the crystal is sapphire, and the movement is Swiss quartz. Next up we have Prokop Broz. Prokop Broz? We'll go with Prokop Broz. And their website is not fun to navigate. When you pull up the single-hander, it's displayed in a callout, kind of like it's a submenu or something. And if you try clicking in it, you really have to just go back to the original URL. But this is a great-looking, unique one-hander watch. That hand is absolutely amazing. It has a magnifier for the counterweight, and that looks down on the hour indices. The tip of the hand points to the minutes indices. These are check-made watches. I have no idea how you go about purchasing them, or how much they retail for. This website. The dial features the minutes markers around the outer edge of the dial in super technical looking markers. The hours are thick, then step down to thin sticks near their tips. The minutes markers are called out in small Arabics. Some pieces call out just the 30-minute positions, others call out the 15 and 45 positions, and still others call out 15, 30, and 45. Near the center are the hour markers. Some models have Arabics for these, and others have Roman numerals. These are available with white dials, and the markers are in blue with touches of gold. They have great onion-style crowns, and they are kind of large at 44 millimeters. As for the specifications on these watches, the case size is 44 millimeters, the case height is 11.3 millimeters, The crystal is sapphire, and the movement is an in-house PB12HS. And now for my favorite, the Botta Nova. These are super tech-looking watches from the brand Bada, which is based out of Germany. The line features automatic watches at a whopping 44mm case size, as well as a quartz piece at 40. We'll be looking at the latter. It's called the Titan. It is available with a white, gray, or black dial. The black dials can be purchased with a silver or black color case. They retail for about $500. The dial has the brand name at the 3 o'clock and is sterile otherwise. The dial stops just short of the edge of the case, and there's an inset band with hour markers in nice sci-fi looking stick markers and Arabic numerals at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. The single hand peeks out from under the dial, so it is only visible within the outer band. It is a great fluorescent green color. The gray variant is great. The dial in the center is black, and the ring around it is gray with black indices. I really like these watches and would love to add one to the collection. Could always use another sci-fi watch. However, I probably wouldn't wear it very often, and so I wouldn't really want to have to pay this price for it. At maybe $100 or $200, I'd probably add one. These watches are super thin at only 4.9mm, and their cases are titanium. As for their specifications, the case size is 40mm, the case height is 4.9mm, the crystal is sapphire, and the movement inside is a Ronda 1062. So there you have it, just some of the examples of single-handed watches that are out there. And now that I've done this research, they're showing up all over on my feeds. Thanks for watching.